In the 20th century, traveling across the United States was a tall order and required many stops, not just to get gas, but also to stretch your legs, get something to eat, and many people banked on that need to stop and rest. Thus became the roadside attraction business. All sorts of oddities like a Stonehenge of wrecked cars or a massive model train layout. The roadside attraction really isn't around anymore, but in Ortona, Pennsylvania, one is still thriving. We are here at Mr. Ed's Elephant Museum and Candy Emporium along the still very busy and very historic Lincoln Highway. Several of our viewers have been requesting to make a stop here for a long time, and we're going to do it today. To understand how this wonderland came to sprout along the Lincoln Highway, we must wind the clocks. Don't worry, we don't have to go that far back, but we must head 3 miles up the road. In February of 1975, Ed and Pat Gottwald were entrepreneurs who had just embarked on their latest venture, Mr. Ed's, the territory's most unusual general store. They provided a wide variety of souvenirs and novelty foods, but it was the theatrical promotions of Mr. Gottwald, known locally as Mr. Ed, that really brought the crowds in. During the bicentennial, he stayed up for 76 straight hours before culminated with a massive fireworks show. His increasingly bombastic arrival of Santa events were so astounding they made national headlines. When Mr. Ed Claus had a crash land in the Caledonia State Forest with his hot air balloon. His theatrics were not contained to promotion, being a frequent face at the nearby Totem Pole Playhouse. But it wasn't a mere act. Mr. Ed was the genuine article when it came to making the common feel extraordinary, from his business to his customers. By 1983, financial troubles compelled the Gottwalds to change venues for their business. They acquired property along Route 30, which once served as an antique store. It was during this move the decision was made to theme the store around elephants. Mr. Ed had been collecting all things elephants since the late 60s, to the point he had approximately 2,000 in his possession at the time of the relocation. A display room was dedicated just for the elephants, and a large oscillating statue of an elephant was positioned along the road. The revamped Mr. Ed's, when opened in 1984, was an instant hit with travelers and locals alike. The Gottwalds took the elephant theme a step further by hitting the road to vend roasted peanuts, showing up at as many as 42 shows during their busiest time. The Elephant Museum and corresponding Candy Emporium ran strong for 3 decades, but tragedy threatened to upend the business in July of 2010. A fire broke out and destroyed the building, reducing much of Mr. Ed's original elephant collection to an ashy slush. Incredibly, volunteers had hailed from 7 different states descended upon the property for a designated day to clean up the ruins of the display. What could not be saved was crushed into a mosaic that now serves as a centerpiece in the new Museum and Candy Emporium, opened on the grounds of the original in February 2011. The business has continued to run strong ever since, with the collection surging to over 12,000 elephants. Now, it's worth noting when you visit Mr. Ed's Elephant Museum, you're not going to find much written material on individual pieces, but the display cases are dotted with fun facts about elephants, such as the fact that elephants can produce up to 1 ton of poop per week. Hey, I never said this was a classy channel. For many in America, circuses were the events where they would actually get to see a live elephant. Mr. Ed's collection includes numerous posters and figurines relating to the circus business, from the Ringling Brothers to Betty Cole. I was especially interested in this page out of an 1873 Harper's Weekly promoting P.T. Barnum. With the elephant being the symbol of the Republican Party, it's not surprising that there are political campaign novelties in the collection. In the 1976 election, the elephant motif went into overdrive when the peanut farming roots of Democrat nominee Jimmy Carter became essential for his run to office. Of course, it wouldn't be an elephant museum without Dumbo making an appearance. In fact, he makes a lot of appearances, including as a piece of a carousel. It had not occurred to me just how many different companies have used elephants to promote alcohol. In retrospect, it makes sense when you consider the idiom of seeing pink elephants. For the record, I did see pink elephants throughout the collection, and you will too in this visit. But I am scared to know what this elephant is seeing. In all sincerity, my favorite pieces were the ones that had short messages for Mr. Ed, as the collection has grown in large part due to family, friends, and people he never even met sending them in to truly make this a special place. Mr. Ed was not the only one of the Gottwalds to build a collection. Over her life, Pat Gottwald had built up an array of teapots. In 2018, a portion of her 200-piece collection was put on display in her own teapot museum. Included is a teapot resembling Snoopy's doghouse, a set of a maid and butler, and I don't know what to make of this one. And of course, elephants still appear here, but in teapot form. Now, the main income for the business is selling candies and other sweets. The Gottwald's collecting habits bled in here as well, with a whole room full of Pez dispensers. A lot of properties owned by the evil California mouse are featured, but I was surprised to find Martin Van Buren, of all presidents, to be converted to a Pez dispenser. Actually, no, take that back. I think William Henry Harrison has done more to change America by dispensing Pez than he did as president. Oh, and there's Tom's the Tank Engine to make my obligatory train reference. Mr. Gottwald passed away on February 26, 2021, but his legacy carries on with his grandson-in-law and granddaughter. The collection he left behind has grown to an estimated 12,000 elephants, with the museum only having enough room for a portion of it. While some of the novelties on the store floor have changed with time, a visit to this establishment remains fun for the whole family. That's going to conclude this edition of Retracing History. Very different subject matter we were tackling here, but I always have fun talking about roadside attraction history, the history of our highways, the Lincoln Highway especially, which goes all the way from New York City to San Francisco. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button down below. If you want to follow us in our future adventures, consider subscribing here to Readout Productions. And if you want to sustain this channel, you want to fortify this bastion of historical preservation, it is Readout Productions, consider joining our membership program, which is available through Ko-fi. Link is in the description below. You can join the Garrison for a small monthly fee, and we get behind-the-scenes photographs and behind-the-scenes footage. You get access to select scripts for videos we've done and live streams. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.